Hello world, Wendy from Cali here, back with our Mixed Manny chat. We are doing another Use It or Lose It this time around. I have just prepped my nails with Stacy Sparkle Sauce Stuck on You. It's the bonder that Stacy Adams has me testing. So I want to make sure that I let it dry before I put on the strips. But I figured I'd start the recording before we get started so that we can chit-chat about what's been going on in my life. Today is Valentine's Day, so if you're watching on the day the video is released, happy Valentine's Day. My brother and his family is actually coming to visit because we are having a pre-Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year celebration with him, since he won't be able to make it on the actual day because it's a weekday. But instead of having Valentine's nails, which I already had, I am doing my Lunar New Year, Chinese New Year nails. And I definitely knew I wanted to use this set right here, Tranquil Koi, when it came in my Color Play Club envelope. Because I don't want to use just one set, usually if I use one set, it chips and all of that really quickly. It wears down because I do a lot of washing of dishes, cooking, laundry, all that stuff. I'm going to actually use Crystal Couture, which I felt was a nice, very sparse glitter so that it still allows Tranquil Koi to show. And of course, it is the year of the horse, so I had to use up my last little Giddy Up accent there, and sprinkles on top, and lavish lavender to just mix it all up here. So without further ado, let's get started. Should be dry enough. Getting there. Should be okay. But yeah, we had a nice lunch at work earlier this week that was sponsored by one of the carriers that we work with, and we had food from the hummus factory, which was really delicious. If you know me, Mediterranean food is totally my style of food. Gyro meat is just so yum. And the only thing that was missing was the garlic sauce. Most Mediterranean places that I would get food from typically have like this really delicious garlic paste, garlic sauce, and we didn't have that. But it didn't take away from how delicious the food was. Definitely all of the proteins were finished by everybody like super quick. Even though it was meant for at least 20 people, our office devoured it. We all had like seconds and whatever. So what was left over though was a ton of rice and salad and pita bread. And so being that I do not like seeing food go to waste, and most of my coworkers aren't that big on leftovers, I took it home yesterday and repurposed it. So earlier last week, during the weekend, I had prepped chicken for making butter chicken. So typically with butter chicken in the Instant Pot, I need chicken thigh meat. So I had to cut off all the meat from the chicken thighs. The bones I threw into the Instant Pot to make chicken bone broth. And then the leftover like shredded chicken from the bone broth itself, I turned that into a chicken salad. So we had leftover chicken salad, and I was using that to fill the pita breads to make, and add some cheese to make a little chicken melt as an appetizer for our dinner last night. Does anyone else have really like satisfying feels pulling the sticky stuff from the Color Street packaging, or is it just me? Anyways, so we had those little chicken melts, and then I made the butter chicken, and we feasted for sure. I also had made cookies for the office because it was Friday the 13th and day before Valentine's Day, and I really felt like, oh, I want to do something for the office. Except that I forget that Fridays are usually a very light day. Not that many folks working actually in the office on location. So my coworker had also harvested lemons from her backyard, and I told her on Wednesday when I saw the whole big bowl of lemons, I was like, hey, I can make a lemonade. And she's like, yeah, sure. So that's what I had done yesterday too. I made a big pitcher of lemonade for the office, but to my knowledge, that big pitcher is still there in the office. So I'll be enjoying that next week. Even if nobody else drinks the lemonade, I will drink the lemonade. So yeah. But that's mostly what's been happening this week, besides work, because nobody wants to hear about work. It's all about the fun stuff. My Aunt Millie has been looking to invest in real estate. She wants to buy a house. Not quite sure what brought about this desire to own real estate, but she wants it here in Monterey Park. Like, she made it clear that she wants it close to where I, Panda Bear, and the Rents live. And she wants Mama Carla and her family to move into whatever real estate that she is planning to purchase. Because she's like, why are you spending money paying rent to a stranger when you could pay rent to family? Yeah, I don't know. Really doesn't matter to Panda Bear and myself. We're going to pay that rent regardless of where it's happening, whether it's, you know, keeping Mama Carla and the kids over where they're currently at, or if moving into a new place, as long as that new place is not smaller than where they're currently living, because it has to be an upgrade, not a downgrade, for us to be in agreement to move Mama Carla and her kiddos. So that's where we're at. We've been going to open houses, and we saw this one house that I feel is a perfect fit for everybody. And we'll see, because later today, my Aunt Millie and one of her sons is going to be going with us to see the house in a private showing. So there's also a bunch of other houses that we've been looking at, which is so fun to do. Like, I remember when I was much younger, my mom would want to just drive all over to look at open houses. She once even drove us all the way to Fontana, which is like not that close to where we're at. And they were having new builds in Fontana at that time, and the houses were humongous and beautiful, obviously, because they're new builds, so, you know, fresh, new, whatever. But it was Fontana. That's like nowhere near where we're at, where we're used to. So of course that's a pipe dream. Plus, who needs a house that big? Like, I sure don't. I like a house that's just the right size and cozy enough where the family can spend time together. Like, even one of the houses that we had seen in Montebello Hills was amazing. I was saying it was my dream home, but thinking about it, like, I'm like, oh, it was too nice. Like, when a house is too nice, you don't feel that lived in feeling. It feels like almost like a museum. At least that's how I feel. I don't know how everyone else feels about that, but certainly that's how I feel about it. So this house that we had seen earlier this week, which my Aunt Millie's going to go see today, feels like the perfect fit. It feels like we can really make it a home. I've already started like just envisioning like all of Mama Carla's family's furniture and stuff in the house, where things would go, what new furniture we might need to set up like a study area instead of like taking over the dining area for our lessons and stuff like that. And like I'm like manifesting it. And this house is a house that my mom actually, when they first started looking at houses on websites like Redfin and Zillow or whatever, she looked at it and was like, I hope nobody gets this house. Meaning she hopes nobody gets it but us, because it was already like in contract or something, like where someone had put a bid in it and they were going through like the motions of like the house being sold, only to have it go back up on the market. And it's happened a few times. And so Panda Bear did a little research on it and thinks he knows exactly why that's happening, which I'm not going to mention it in case like if we do end up getting the house, I'll mention it, but I don't want to mention it if we don't get the house. But long story short, my Aunt Millie's going to go look at the house and we'll see. I really, truly hope that this is the house, but if not, I'm having a ton of fun looking at different properties with the fam. We make it a good time to walk through houses and go grab something to eat in that area and stuff like that. So yeah, but last weekend I missed out on looking at houses because I got to spend time with my gal pals, Diane and Na. Finally, like it's been an eternity since we hung out. We celebrated my birthday last year in May. That's how long ago it was since we hung out, because I ended up getting sick right around the time when we were going to celebrate Diane's birthday in late September, early October. And so with the holidays and all of that, we couldn't find time to reschedule. And so we were celebrating Na's birthday in February. But I also turned it into a let's celebrate Diane's birthday. Well, because we just go out to eat. That's pretty much it. But we went to eat at Mikomi Sushi. So yum. If you're ever in the Alhambra area, highly recommend Mikomi Sushi. They have currently they have a 30% off any food items on their menu for a happy hour when they first open to before 5 p.m. And so really worth it. Delicious stuff. I had baked pistachio muffins and also chocolate chunk sea salt cookies and macadamia nut chocolate chip cookies, so that I could package them, one each of the most perfect ones for both Diane and Na for their birthday, along with some birthday moolah as gifts for them. And yeah, I woke up at like 3 in the morning the day of to do all that baking, because I wanted to, one, not have a kitchen where I was being crowded by my family, which happens a lot if I bake during the time when my pops is awake, because he loves being curious, coming into the kitchen whenever I'm in the kitchen trying to do my thing. And also I wanted it as fresh as possible. So yeah. And then, of course, Sunday was Super Bowl Sunday. So Sunday, before we went over to Mama Carla's house to hang out and stuff our faces, we went for a long walk to work up that appetite, and we stopped by the neighbors, Delia at the corner house. She's the one that I gave, well, Marcella and I gave Nicholas Sparks and M. Night Shyamalan book, Remain, to, because she said she was bored and she reads a lot, so we were like, oh, let's give her a book. We were checking in to see how she was doing. She hasn't started on the book yet, so I'm like, she mentioned again she's bored, and I'm like, oh, she's lonely. She's not bored. She just wants people to talk with, because she's like 92? No, is she 92? She's up there in age, but her children don't live very close by, and so she's always talking with like the neighborhood folks and all of that. And so yeah, we just wanted to drop by and say hello, because she seemed like she needed some company. All right, so this is the dilemma here, because what I should have done, I didn't want to waste it, but what I should have done was I should have used these here and here with that little wave, but I didn't. And so now I'm thinking I'm going to use these, because I'm going to waste one of them, but the other one I'm going to make a nail stick like I normally do. And so that's what happens when I get distracted and I'm talking and I'm not like paying attention to which strips to use. But it's okay. At the end of the day, it's just nails. All right, Tranquil Koi. All right, let's do this. So I'm not going to use this. Save that for later. And then the biggest ones, I'm not going to use those. Save those for later. But yeah, we're going to go look at more houses today. And then my brother and his fam are going to be in town for us to have a nice Chinese banquet to celebrate Chinese New Year early. And originally I wanted to bake Chinese almond cookies for everyone, but there's no time for it because Panda Bear didn't get a chance to go do grocery shopping yesterday, and so because I don't have all the ingredients, I'm not doing that. But what I am going to do today is bake some more bread, because the sourdough bread that I baked last week has already been fully consumed, which is awesome because I don't ever like seeing food go to waste, if I didn't say that already. So we made good use of all of our ingredients this time. No moldy bread, even though there are days where we are fasting, doing OMAD, 1 meal a day. So we don't get a chance to really eat a lot. So I have to consider that whenever I'm baking anything. So yeah. But what else? What else have I missed? I feel like it's been a while since I've made a Mixed Manny chat, because the last one I made was before I did the first impressions of the current Color Play Club envelope, the Kiss and Tell. So maybe, let's see. I made cookies with the girls. That's another thing. We did that on Super Bowl Sunday. And Benjamin, my nephew, really loved the cookies. Mama Carla was like, yeah, he goes and he grabs like a handful each time. So they were able to finish like pretty much all the baked goods, because of course when I baked all that stuff for my gal pals, there was plenty leftovers, and because Panda Bear, Pops, and I are kind of on a fasting OMAD diet, we knew we weren't going to be able to finish any of it, and I brought it over to Mama Carla's for Super Bowl Sunday, along with the spinach artichoke dip that I made, and everything flew off the shelves during the week. So there was none that I could bring to work because everybody enjoyed all of the stuff at home. So, you know, that's also what prompted me to make the shortbread cookies yesterday for work, because I was like, oh, I'm like my mom. My mom does this too. So she actually made pot stickers to bring to her co-workers. She works the graveyard shift, and so she made pot stickers to bring them for an early Valentine's Day Chinese New Year celebration. So I get that from my mama, wanting to feed my second family. You know, you're at work like more hours in the day than sometimes you are at home, and so I call my work family my second family because I'm there so long. Yeah, I call the office my second home because I'm there so often. So yeah, if that gives you any inclination of where my head's at. I'm going to do the thumbs last because sometimes I use my thumbs as tools. So let's go ahead and open up sprinkles on top. Since there's only one, I think I'm going to use it on my pinkies, because it's a really tiny strip that's left. So it'll be very hard to use it anywhere else. To use it on both nails. So sprinkles on top. I was trying to find glitter strips that were like sparse enough where it wasn't gonna distract from the actual image of the nails, and I think that did the trick, because look at that, you can still see the koi fish, no problem at all. I'll have to come back and fix that though, because yep, take off the excess here. See, I'm using my thumbs as tools, as I mentioned. It's not even like I think about it, it just happens. And I'm sure most of you guys are like that too, where it's just, you don't even think about it, you just do it. And so yeah, it's already like mid-February, and we have our family trip in June, which we're going out of the country. We're flying into New York and then driving into Ontario, Canada. So I need a passport. I had a passport back in 2003 when my family went to Canada. We drove into Whistler and Vancouver, actually with my Aunt Millie's family. And when we did that, my mom had told me I needed a passport. And turns out at that time, and I might be getting this timeline wrong, it might not have been 2003. It might have been earlier than 2003. But whenever it was, I got myself a passport only to realize that we didn't need a passport to drive into Canada at that time. So I had every intent on traveling somewhere, anywhere abroad, so that I can at least put one stamp in my passport. But that never happened because I was like gung-ho about going to Italy, and I even started learning Italian, getting ready to take this trip. I met some cool friends in my Italian class and all of that, and it was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this before my passport expires. And then I met Panda Bear, and then that all fell by the wayside. Didn't go anywhere. Stayed here in the States and settled with Panda Bear, the love of my life. I mean, so much so that I have tattooed him to me. Permanent reminder that he is my one. The panda to my owl. But never got a chance to go to Italy. And I don't know if I have the same desire to travel anywhere that I used to. The older I get, the more I'm like, flying is like, makes me nervous, and I don't really want to travel too far. Ooh, these feel hard. These might not be good to use. Hold on, let me test it. Yeah, these got too old. Okay, Lavish Lavender, you are not going to be used. But at least we still have Crystal Couture. Lots of them to use, and that's a fresh one, so that's not going to be messed up. Alright. Well, then let's put the horsey down. The horsey's going to be right here on the ring finger, because it's the year of the horse. We gotta give a nod to the current year. My paternal grandmother, may she rest in peace, was the year of the horse, and she actually passed away right before September 11th happened in 2001. 2001 was a really rough and weird year. But yeah, she was the year of the horse. She's the only one I actually know of that was the year of the horse. I don't think I know of any other family members. And definitely not friends, because most of my friends are around my age, so they would either be a monkey, a rooster like myself, or a dog. So yeah, year of the horse right there, representing. Alright, now we can start thinking about laying down Crystal Couture and then doing our thumbs and getting this video posted. So if you watched this much of it and you're still here, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe. I mean, if you like watching videos of, you know, me doing my nails and just chatting about life and all that good stuff, please, would love to have you part of this universe here that I call Wendy from Cali's Manny Chats. I really don't talk about anything of substance though, so yeah, if you're looking for things to learn and all that, likely it won't be from me. I don't have much to teach except for homeschooling science, art, and home economics for the girls, for my nieces. Other than that, I learn all of my stuff. Like, I listen to Stacy Adams. I watch her. She actually is the inspo for this channel here, what I do, because her videos inspired me to be like, hey, I could do that too. But really, I do this more for myself to be able to look back on what was I doing when I was wearing that mani. And it helps me just listen in, because I've got such a dory brain. I'll tell you this much. Like, don't ask me what happened in what year and whatnot. My brain is not going to be able to recall any of it. I have friends and I have family that are like, oh, remember that time, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, I don't. And so, yeah, that's how my brain works. My brain, you ask me something about work, I got you. I can recall and find receipts for anything about work because it's important. It is what pays the bills. So that's important stuff. Have me recall when we last, did something. Yeah, no, that's not really important to me. I mean, it's fun to reminisce, but it's also like, no, that's not like taking up space in my brain right now, because my brain's got everything that's in the present right now, what I'm dealing with happening in the brain, and that's about it. So these videos, these vlogs, help me remember what's been going on. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. My nails are super short. I had to cut them down, especially this problem child. This one keeps peeling. So I already know, even with Stacy Sparkle Sauce stuck on you, this one's going to be the first one to chip. And it's because I do this all the time. I'm scratching at stuff. I'm using my fingernails as tools when I'm not supposed to. And it is what it is. That is how things go, and it's not going to change. So I just embrace it. I have so many Color Street sets and so many bottles of nail polish from ILNP that it doesn't matter. If something chips, I just go and I do my nails again. This is one of those me time, zen time. Feels very relaxing to do nails. That and cooking are my two things. And surprisingly, doing laundry doesn't feel like a chore to me. I actually enjoy not the part of gathering all the stinky, dirty laundry, but the part of putting it into the wash, taking it out of the wash, hanging the laundry that needs to air dry versus throwing it into the dryer to dry with the dryer, and then putting the laundry away. All of that, I enjoy doing that perversely. I don't know if there's other people out there that actually enjoy doing laundry, but yeah, that's me. And I often take time to go look at the pond we have, the little fish pond that my dad maintains in our backyard that has feeder goldfish. But the longer you keep those feeder goldfish that haven't been fed to other animals, the bigger they get. And there's one that looks like the size of a koi fish, even though it's just a feeder goldfish. And then there's 5 others that my pops had purchased months ago. And I like going to look at the pond to see if I can see them, spot them. A lot of times they're hiding underneath the lily pads. Because, obviously you see this big hulking thing shadowing over your pond, you think, I'm going to get eaten, so you hide. But sometimes if I'm very sneaky and quiet and light-footed, I can actually catch some of them swimming around, looking so beautiful. There is one, though, that I haven't spotted in a long while. I know it's hiding because it's the tiniest one, which I had named it Tiny Smalls. Tiny Smalls is always hiding. So the only time I ever get a glimpse of Tiny Smalls is if somehow Tiny Smalls has shifted a little bit from underneath the lily pad that he hides in. Enough for me to be like, oh, there he is. He's not as tiny as he was when we first got him, but he's still tinier than the others. So he continues to remain Tiny Smalls. He was actually the one that I had picked out because he had some black markings on him and he just looked so different and he was so tiny and he was so cute. So if I can find the video that I had taken of question, let me see. Do I put the one fish or do I put the wave? I feel like I should put the wave because the wave is like a little different than everything else. I'm gonna do it. No fishy on the thumb. It's gonna be a wave. Alright, but anyways, Tiny Smalls. I picked Tiny Smalls out. So every time I get a glimpse of Tiny Smalls, I get a little bit excited. But yeah, right now, what audiobook am I listening to? I'm listening to Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson's Greek Gods. So I'm actually enjoying it, even though, wow, like Greek mythology, so much bad stuff, violence, rape, all of that. But the way that the author writes it, because it's a book meant for kids, he writes it so that it's like, you're not like I don't know, you don't get all the bad feels from it, even though you know, like, he's like sugarcoating like what has transpired with those Olympians and Greek gods and stuff like that. But yeah, I thought that it would be an interesting way for the girls once they're older, not right now, but when they're avid readers. Lilith is already an avid reader, but when Allison and Amalika get to that level too, I'm gonna probably buy them each a copy of the book, but like buy 4 copies of the book and have that be part of our art time, where we will be reading some of the Greek mythology like stories and then having them draw out like the most memorable scenes, which we were doing that with Harry Potter for a little bit, but haven't had time to like revisit the Harry Potter books, which we will probably do that again once we get back into a good rhythm. They're finally feeling much better. They were sick for like 2 weeks, the whole family. It was not cool. But everyone's better now, so that's good. And then also on Thursday we had lessons. I had lessons, and we had brought over Valentine's Day, early Valentine's Day, Chinese New Year gifts for the kiddos, where Panda Bear and I had we picked out a book for each of the girls and even for Benjamin, and we surprised them with the books and also with some candies, some treats. And then for Mama Carla, and Edgar gets to enjoy this, but Mama Carla, we got her a Dutch oven because she's been wanting one so that she can make no-knead bread, and she use it for anything else like soups and stews and all that good stuff. So excited to see what she does with the Dutch oven, but she's been asking for one, or mentioning it, I should say, since before Christmas last year. But we had a bunch of other things in mind for Christmas for them. So thought it was a good way to kick off the Chinese New Year by giving her a Dutch oven. I was thinking I was going to save it until Mother's Day, but Mother's Day is so far away, and so it was a good excuse. Plus, it was relatively inexpensive compared to some of the other ones that were like on Amazon and stuff like that. We got it at Walmart. And really good brand, Lodge. So if you're looking for a Dutch oven, Lodge brand at Walmart is a very decent price. But we recommend you order it online for pickup or online for shipping and delivery because you save a few extra bucks. For some reason, like things in person at stores cost a little bit more than if you were to order them online and pick them up. So if you are online savvy, that's a tip for you. Instead of just going shopping in person, order something ahead of time to go pick it up because it's going to be a couple dollars less. Yeah. Not quite sure why. Panda Bear says it's because for those people that are already in the store, they won't know that they could be saving money by doing that. And so I think he's probably right. I heard that they're going to start installing these like digital like price tags on all like shelves of grocery stores and stores like Walmart and stuff like that, where they can instantaneously change the prices. This is a conspiracy theory, but they can change the prices depending on who is walking by the shelves because they kind of track, like your phone tracks everything. If you don't know that people are watching, everything's paying attention, but they'll know that, oh, you're there to buy something. They're going to up the price or change the price based on the person, which sounds crazy, but also in a capitalistic society, it sounds about right. So I leave you with that conspiracy nugget. We are done here. So if you watched all the way through, a fishy and a horsey for Chinese New Year. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoy your Valentine's Day or Chinese New Year or whenever you end up watching this video. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with friends if you'd like, and I will see you all next time. Peace.